Listen to the start of this recording. Two children are bickering, complaining about being pinched and arguing over who hit whom first. It is an immediate cycle of escalation, where physical space becomes a battleground. In moments like this, direct instruction usually hits a wall. Demanding that a child suddenly become generous or cooperative often just adds another layer of noise to the conflict. The grandmother redirects this energy. She offers a conditional trade. The children receive a story, but only if they provide the silence necessary to hear it. The shift is visible in the transcript. The combatants instantly stop the pinching and start shushing one another, self-regulating their behavior to secure the narrative reward. Folktales like The Golden Duck allow these children to observe the long-term consequences of greed and the rewards of generosity from a safe distance, making a case for cooperation that a simple lecture cannot. The grandmother's story sets up a trial. Three brothers go into the forest to cut wood, and each encounters a starving dwarf who asks for a share of their meal. The two older brothers, Jetpot and Cotpot, enter the forest with high-value resources, 4 patatas and a container of lassi. When the dwarf asks for food, they refuse, calculating that any gift to a stranger is a direct loss to themselves. The story quickly imposes a cost on this hoarding. Their own tools slip, one breaks a leg and the other is struck by a falling tree, stripping them of their ability to work. The youngest brother, Notcott, arrives with the least, just 2 patatas and some chutney. Despite his limited supply, he chooses to share his meal with the dwarf. By sharing, he triggers a transformation. His simple chutney and bread become a high-quality feast, and the dwarf rewards his generosity by leading him to a golden feathered duck hidden in the roots of an old tree. This chart illustrates the karma economy. High initial assets without sharing lead to a negative balance, but a small shared investment multiplies wealth. The ledger transforms into a network map. Hoarding isolates you, while sharing connects you to a wider web, unlocking hidden value. The story uses these magical outcomes to model a grounded strategy. A small amount of resources invested in others can yield a higher return than a large amount of resources kept in isolation. Notcat travels to an inn with his golden duck. The asset is highly visible, and its value immediately draws the attention of those looking for an easy gain. The innkeeper's daughter sees a chance to enrich herself without work. She reaches out to pluck a single golden feather, hoping to sell it at the market. The moment she touches the duck, she is physically stuck. She has lost her autonomy because she tried to take what wasn't hers. The story escalates. 2 more sisters, an old man, his son, and 2 laborers join the fray. Each person who tries to touch the wealth becomes part of a 7-person chain, stuck together and forced to follow. By making the trap literal and physical, the story visualizes how the impulse to take can become an external liability. The characters find their fates linked not by choice, but by their mutual desire for the same golden object. They are dragged along in a public line, their private greed turned into a clumsy, visible spectacle. The sticky duck demonstrates that pursuing wealth through theft or exploitation doesn't just grant you an asset, it can strip you of your freedom and link your reputation to everyone else trying to do the same. The absurdity reaches its peak when this parade of 7 stuck people passes the royal palace. The sight is so ridiculous that it causes a princess who had been silent for years to burst into laughter. Because Notcott provided the laughter the king demanded, he's granted a marriage into the royal family. The townspeople who tried to steal from him are left behind, stuck in their embarrassing chain. When the story ends, the recording reveals a shift in the room. The initial bickering has been replaced by a different kind of noise. The children are no longer focused on who pinched whom. They are now active participants in the narrative world, asking the grandmother about the fate of the people stuck to the duck. The grandmother has used the narrative to model empathy and the logic of cooperation. The children are no longer fighting for dominance because their attention has been captured by a model of how social behavior creates success. Folktales endure because they offer a repeatable way to show generosity isn't just a moral choice, but a practical investment in the health of a community.